Hey, Shayla.
I like the background, Shayla. I like the posters. Quality content.
The light. Hold on, the light.
Okay, sounds like she's busy. Bex, how have you been?
Oh, you know. I mean, it was a good week. We landed. I'm happy.
Yes.
My system didn't crash and burn. I'm not on EDL, so like my system now gets to be used.
It wasn't all for nothing. Well, it was never for nothing, but
It's never for nothing.
Yeah, it looks like they don't have blur background for Zoom.
Yeah.
That's weird. I'm gonna Google it now.
But no, I don't know. I'm just chill week, getting through.
what do you feel like the odds are for the TRD launch tomorrow?
Looking pretty good. I mean,
I
are you
think-
talking whether the launch will happen or whether it will work?
No, whether it'll work.
Oh, I think we'll.
Oh no,
be
we're
fine.
going.
I think we have enough stuff on there that will be fine.
Yeah.
Hi, sorry, I'm in our living room and Emma is here too. I'm gonna set up a meeting mic so it's not as bad.
You have a meeting mic?
I do.
Yes, this was the result of us complaining about not being able to hear them when we do movie nights.
Mm.
Like slightly
What's
better.
a meeting mic?
Like a
Conference room mic.
Conference room mic, yeah.
Alright.
I honestly can't tell if Shayla just said, "Can you hear me?" But was
that working?
I can hear
Yes,
you.
that is.
All right.
Okay, and now do we have an echo? Can you hear us without an echo?
I have no echo. Do you have an echo?
Nope. Sounds good.
Beautiful. Finally working. Do you want in on video? Huh? Well, you're eating.
Hey, Emma.
I was thinking we'd hang out for a little bit before starting since it's Saturday afternoon, if that's all right with y'all.
Wow. Okay.
What?
No. We're talking about blur background. You want to know what the internet tells us to do, Bex?
Mm-hmm.
Take a screenshot of your background, blur it,
and put it
then,
as a background.
Yep.
Yeah,
mhm.
no. I don't care that much.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's just stupid. Like, come on.
That's really stupid.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah, we're running this on Arrow NU time, aka 5 to 10 minutes late, Shayla. Yep. Okay. I'm sorry, am I wrong?
That is so accurate.
It's a classic.
5 is generous. I think it's usually 10.
It's
10 or
usually
15.
10, and if it's LRE time, it's a half hour.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I try to start all of my intromech meetings just around 5 minutes late. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to wait until 7:10 to start my meetings, but, you know.
I mean, how many people like responded to the things? Do we know how many people we were expecting?
We got some likes,
Not
but I
gonna
didn't
lie.
actually request a reservation.
No,
Yeah,
I know.
okay. I was gonna say, because I didn't tell anyone I was coming. I just was planning on coming.
You're actually supposed to bring a bottle of wine.
What?
You were supposed to have a reservation and bring wine when you came.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to leave then.
I didn't bring any either. Like, we have no presenters now.
Do we even have anyone that would be coming?
The only
Does anyone have one?
the only person I saw who reacted to things who isn't here is Ryan.
I did tell him, but he's not in Northeast.
Well, Ryan is, I think, frantically building his cert rocket for tomorrow.
Yeah, I have a feeling
Yeah,
the
so
Cert
we're gonna
Rocket
get-
people. Well, also Matt Morley too, but he's also frantically.
There's a whole
building
bunch of
Cert
people that I think would be here, but are prepping for launch.
Yep.
They're not just gonna put us on in the background in the lab.
I'll ping right now. Okay.
There we
I'll
go.
do it.
They don't need to. There's just some fun content.
I mean,
Hopefully.
I have
Debatably.
the presentation that I can send out later.
Yeah, I'm not gonna send out my presentation later just because it has some.
Should we stop recording when you present?
Oh,
Yeah.
duh. I didn't think that far through. Because there were some photos that are like on near a friend's portfolio that I'm using, so they're technically approved for release, but I don't think either of us really want them going around.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
For sure.
Because they're not like widely distributed NASA stuff.
I mean, it would probably stay in Arrow and U, but up to you whether you want that or not.
You know, I'll have made a decision by the time we start doing this.
You just lose.
Yeah, I think I'm probably gonna say don't record me. Sorry.
Sad.
Make it even more exclusive.
Two minutes. It's down to the wire.
Absolutely is. Bex, what did you do for your landing viewing? Did you do anything special?
I joined the SEDS watch party.
Oh, you joined the SEDS watch party, not the Arrow and you one.
Sorry.
Wow.
Wow, how was it?
It was fun. Because there were two of the other kids co-opted their last co-op.
Yeah.
So we were all freaking out together.
Pretty much.
Yep.
I've seen so many really good clips of people reacting from home. Like, I mean, JPL employees who obviously weren't there in person being like, ooh.
I think I probably had a very muted response. I had a response that was more like excitement followed by like a sigh of relief and then, okay, what's next? Just cause like, I mean, I'm excited it landed. It was all really fantastic, but like my stuff hasn't done stuff yet. Like
And your stuff needs to do stuff, so my stuff.
my stuff does need to do stuff. Yeah. Okay, I think Shayla, do you wanna?
Yeah, we can start. Get that up. Okay, now let's see if I can share it. I probably want the whole screen. Alrighty, can you see Perseverance on a nice Mars background?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
I like that my official name is Bex now. I appreciate it.
I mean, you can be Rebecca if you want.
No, I'm good with it.
Okay. Let me know if you want any edits before I send it out. So yeah, so this is a presentation on Mars 2020 Perseverance. Me and Vax are giving it, hooray. Things we're going to go through today are, what is Perseverance? What happened with EDL? Where is Percy now? What instruments are on board, including Ingenuity? And what is working on Perseverance like, and what does that include? And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to stop us as we go through. So what is Perseverance? You all should know this. It's NASA's latest Mars rover. It launched in July on the 30th last year, and it just landed this past week on the 18th. And so it has 4 main science objectives in going to Mars. These are labeled A, B, C, and D. The first one is geology. So it's trying to determine the regional history of that area of Mars by studying the rocks in the landing site and the surrounding landscape. Objective B is astrobiology. They're trying to determine whether or not the area there actually could have supported life, and then search for specific rock types that could preserve that. Objective C, sample caching. Of course, want to cache about 30 geologic samples for a later return to Earth with Mars sample return. And objective D is preparation for humans. So there's a couple technologies on board to test out to see if we could actually support future human inhabitants. We're doing great. So EDL stands for Entry, Descent, and Landing, sometimes referred to as the 7 minutes of terror. Again, this happened on the 18th, and it has 12 distinct stages, which you can see here. So if you watch the animation, this is what you saw. It starts with the cruise stage separation, and then you actually enter into the atmosphere. You get your peak heating, but then shortly after you reach peak deceleration, which is very important, you're going to bleed off most of your speed early on, but there's still quite a bit. So following that, you're going to actually enter into a guided entry and deploy your parachute. After that, you're able to separate the heat shield. At that point, the radar locks on, and after that, you're able to actually use, this is a system very unique to Mars 2020, they're able to use terrain relative navigation, and so that uses landmarks on the Mars surface to determine like whether or not it's a good enough spot to land in. If it isn't, it keeps looking, and it's doing all of this on its own. After that, the back shell separates, and the sky crane exits, and there's going to be power descent from that, and as you saw, there's an image later, it's pretty great. It lowers down Mars 2020 on these cables and then flies away to go die its heroic death. It's great. So this is what we saw, and you know, oh, I forget where this starts. But yeah, if y'all saw, people got very excited. Pretty great. Parachute was a big deal and a big sponsor. But it went well. We're gonna. You want to watch? Okay, then I'll let it be. There's a lot.
I mean, none of us can actually hear it. We're all enjoying this silent animation.
I mean, like, it's kind of sappy. Here, let's see. I have to go in here and reshare it. That's so sad.
I think you can optimize.
No, I think you have to do it before you share.
No, more. Sure.
Yay!
Touchdown
That was
confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the sands of past life. Looks like we're getting the first image.
This is the most amazing thing. This is what NASA does. This is what we can do as a country.
Oh yeah. So at the end of that, where did we end up? What happened? So the landing site is known as Jezero Crater. They've actually got a really nice location map. This will be more fun once we get moving, but right now it shows you exactly where Percy is located at. So you can see Sol 0. They haven't sent any instructions yet to have it move anywhere. It's actually to the southeast of the center of the landing zones. This is the landing ellipse that they expected. Yeah, it's a probability ellipse, so the highest probability being the center. So it's actually pretty dang good. It's the best that there has been to date. That's pretty exciting.
How big is this?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how big it is. Please let me in.
It's the smallest it's ever been.
You know, that's how big. It's definitely available out there, though. It's not secret. I just don't know. But yeah, so this is Jezero. Let's see if I can get this. I mean, it's nice and pretty, but it's also kind of slow. So this is footage from ESA, the European Space Agency. They have an orbiter that's actually able to collect this data. So again, like, it's not as detailed as we'll hope to see with Perseverance. For this reason, we don't have a lot of ground truth, and that's why Percy was actually taking in all that data during descent to figure out where landing would actually be most ideal. But this is kind of what Mars looks like where the exploration is going on. So right there is Jezero Crater from above, the most common image that you'll see. And just to confuse you, we're going to spiral out. Yeah, makes me want to go visit Mars. Yeah. Hold on, it needs to stop. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, so they think that Jezero was a lake forever ago, and for this reason, you know, we've landed here, and we're gonna investigate this area that has been labeled the Bathtub Ring. It's full of carbonites, yeah, which is really good at preserving perhaps a fossil record or other organic evidence. And Yeah, so we're currently over here-ish, hoping to kind of get around. There's multiple possible travel paths. Hopefully there's some good stuff to see. So far, this is what we can see. For some reason, when I went to grab this third image, this is all that was available. Sorry about that. But these are the first 3 images that were sent back. And then we have an image of the wheels. This image was taken during descent, and there should be a video out soon. I couldn't find it yet. And then we have a little bit of the landscape from below the belly. So on board Perseverance, there's actually 7 main science instruments. Bex, I promise it actually didn't include your system, so your job to explain that one.
Yep.
Okay. So the first one we can go into is MassCam Z. The name refers to it being a camera on the mast that can zoom. So it actually has 2 cameras. They're multispectral and stereoscopic, so we can actually get some 3D images and video. They have a 2 megapixel color quality, and they can see down to 150 microns, or 7.4 millimeters, depending on how far away it's looking for pixel resolution. They're going to use these to look for several things, but this includes like good rocks that are interesting for science, places that could have contained life, and signs of water, because if there's water, there could be life. So this is located kind of up here on the mast of the rover with some additional pieces at the rear and side. The next one, we have the MEDA, which is the Mars Environmental Dynamic Analyzer, which is the weather station. In Spanish, it kind of refers to like, give me. So like a fun thing that people have been saying is like, give me the weather. So that's how you can remember. It's basically a very fancy sensor suite. It's located on kind of like the neck of the mast here. It measures air temperature, radiation, and dust accumulation, the relative humidity, and some thermal using infrared, as well as wind and pressure. They're using this data, 1, because who doesn't want to know the weather on Mars, but 2, because if you keep track of it, you can tell how it's impacting the information you're getting from all your other sensors and other science experiments. So this one's located kind of on the side again, and of course on the neck of the mast. Next we have Moxie, which is a very exciting experiment in my opinion. It stands for Mars Oxygen ISRU Experiments, which is in situ resource utilization. Gotta love the acronyms. So it turns out the Mars atmosphere is 96% CO2. And so we can take that and turn it into oxygen using electrolysis. So that's pretty cool. This system produces about 10 grams per hour, and it's going to be doing about an hour's worth of operations at a time whenever it's told to do its thing. So future uses for this would be like human respiration, because we breathe oxygen, but also possibly rocket propellant, which would be pretty neat. This is a very small unit, and in the future they're hoping to set down really large, like rover-sized machines for this specifically, but they got to test it out first. So this is going down on Perseverance. After that, we have Pixel, the planetary instrument for X-ray lithochemistry. It's a combination of X-ray spectrometry and a high-resolution camera. It's looking for changes in chemicals and texture in the rocks, because organic life often produces like patterns, right? So it helps us to seek out microbial life specifically. It can also detect about 20 plus chemical fingerprints. It can recognize 20-ish indicators for life or not life, because you have to be able to differentiate. It also has the ability to see things that are like the size of a grain of salt and still get results out of that. So that's pretty neat. It's currently mounted, well, it's going to stay mounted on the turret. And it looks like this little pod right here.
What do the little pistons do?
I have no idea.
Cool.
I don't know. Stabilization would be a guess, but I actually don't know.
Is that was that in a transportation box, or is that the full the lower picture? Yeah.
Sense. That's probably a transportation
It's probably a transportation box from either one part of the lab to another, or a subcontractor to the lab, and those are just dampeners for stabilization so you don't damage the hardware.
It's a nice box.
Next, we can go to Rimfax, which is their radar imager for Mars subsurface experiment. So we've actually never pointed anything into the center of Mars at this point. So we're going to try to look for geologic features and subsurface water or ice or even just salty brines. It collects data every 4 inches, and it's this little box with an antenna on the rear of the rover. So that should be cool. I actually would really like to see what they find down there. Yeah. And then we have the famous duo, Sherlock and Watson. Sherlock stands for scanning habitable environments with Raman and luminescence for organics and chemicals. I like it. So it's also a camera spectrometer combination, but with the addition of a UV laser. So one of its cameras works on autofocusing with a context imager, but the other is dubbed Watson, which you can look up to see what that stands for. I didn't memorize this one. It's a color camera and it assists Sherlock, as Watson usually does. So it actually has to get within 2 inches of the target to operate, but does not make contact. It's mounted to the turret, which is at the end of the arm, and it looks for organic chemicals. It also contains some spacesuit material that NASA is hoping to get some additional testing for to see how it reacts with the Martian environment. So as a fun bonus experiment. The air key doesn't work. Finally, we have SuperCam, which is another camera, laser, and spectrometer combination. But this one's job is to ID the chemical composition of rocks and soils, but from far away this time. Its laser can help remotely clear surface dust to actually look at what's underneath. So at 20+ feet away, we can get information on what rocks are over there. It also does some air measurements, but that's simply because it's going through the air to get these measurements. So. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I'd want to zap her over with a laser. So those are the science instruments that are dedicated to Perseverance, but Perseverance also has another friend with it, a hitchhiker, if you will, named Ingenuity. Please proceed. Yeah, so here's some footage. Oh, that's so mean. I told it where to start. Here we go. So here's some footage of it being tested here on Earth, but in an atmospheric equivalent chamber. So yeah, that was the part of this I wanted to show you. To me, it's incredibly loud and that shocked me. So it's currently living on the belly of Perseverance. 2, 1, 0. I didn't know this. Oh yeah, we can have the audio, why not? This is how they release it. Release, 2, 1, 0.
Yes. 2, 1, 0.
And after that, Perseverance just backs away and they both do their own thing. It's pretty fun. So what is Ingenuity actually doing up there? Ingenuity is completely separate from Perseverance. Their missions are not dependent on each other after this separation. So its main goal is to test powered flight on Mars. We've never done it. So in doing that, it's actually going to prove some miniaturized flying tech. They've shrunk down some computers and some electronic components. It's also going to operate autonomously, which again, we've never done in the air there, so it's going to be really neat. It also charges via solar, and this happens during flight. So all of this are going to take and hope to inform future flying missions, because if we can perfect flying on Mars, we could go a lot further than we can go now. So it's designed to fly for about 980 feet, about 10 to 15 feet off the ground. It has a 30-sol flight test window, so that's 30 Mars days that it can fly during once it's deployed, but deployment isn't set for until the next 30 to 60 days. So we'll have to see when they decide to let this free. But yeah, that's what Ingenuity's up to. All right, so that's all the information I have. Now I'm handing it off to Bex about what it was like to actually get Perseverance ready to go. Yeah, we do have to stop share and stop recording.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let me pull this up and share screen.